Now the story I'm going to tell you, as I said, I've told before at my meetings, but it's very important here today to what I'm talking about, so that you really grasp this. For if the whole human race could grasp what I'm going to say, there would be a different life on this earth, not a life of unhappiness and misery and wretchedness that comes from time to time, but a life of realization of the Lord and of God and of love in this very existence. Now, about 35 years ago, when I was a young man, I loved a woman so deeply, and so, I can't even say deeply, because I just loved her as God. And predictably, she left me. I say predictably because love serves us in so many ways, its wonders to perform. And so I was so devastated. Imagine if you love someone as God, because I knew I loved her as God, but I had no one in existence who ever had experienced it, or no book to read, no one to say it to. It would sound as though I was just deluded, because in those days, of course, there was no New Age. There were all the knowledgeable people hadn't got knowledgeable around us, and all I had was my true experience of this extraordinary love of woman as love of woman as God. So I had no one to refer to, but the point was that I couldn't stand it. I was so devastated, as you can imagine, that she had left me, and I did not have the knowledge to know that it was not in this individual woman that I loved. It was something else. But at any rate, I was in an ordinary situation when suddenly I had a vision. And the image of this woman appeared in front of me. Either in my head or in front of me, I don't know which. Visions, you don't know where they are really. And as she walked from there to here, and as she walked, something fell away from her image, her body, and I exclaimed with great amazement, "It is the Lord." And the woman's image turned to me and said, almost indignantly, "Of course it is I. There is no Anne," which was the name of this woman. Now, isn't that an extraordinary thing? The truth of that means for all of us is that the Lord is inside of us. Of course it is I. There is no Helen. There is no Richard. There's no Mukunda. There's no Alan. There's no Sarah. There's no Neve. There's no Sally. No Katrina. No Robert. It is the Lord in disguise, the potential of beauty of God in each of us. Now, what is the purpose of the spiritual life? What is the purpose of the love of man or woman? It is simply to realize the amazing truth that it is God that I love, it is the Lord that I love in this individual body. And the bodies might go and come and go away, but it makes no difference, for the Lord is within this body that had the vision, because the woman's body was not there. It was a vision of instruction for me. The Lord is in my body, as the Lord is in your body. And it is the love of the Lord in my body, just like you, that I serve. I know that the anger will keep the realization of the reality of this Lord. I know that will keep it from, because I can't have self-assertion and expect to find that which is power and does not assert itself in any way whatever except to be the Lord. I can't have resentment. I can't have broken hearts. And although my heart was broken by that experience, I had reached such a depth that I died. And I passed through death. Because most people, when they lose a loved one that they say they really love, and that's fair enough, they love them humanly, you see. They don't love them as God. And so they survive. You have a broken heart, your lover leaves you, but you'll survive, don't worry. The thing is not to survive, to die. And that happened to me psychologically because I couldn't stand it. I died psychologically. And what do you know? I passed through this realm in the psyche, invented by man and woman's imaginations of the need to survive and the fear of death. I passed through that level in the psyche, and I realized immortality, that there is no death, because I died. Instead of surviving with my pain and unhappiness, with my thoughts about the woman, with my lamentations, with my emotional fears that I'll never be able to go on, all this human stuff, I couldn't stand it. I died psychologically. And I passed through this level of no experience, which is death. Because death is no experience. Psychologically, this happened to me. And I realized life. Ah, what a beautiful thing to be one with all of life. A thing that never leaves you once it happens. And I was one with all life. Because I had to be able to tell you people, and that's why it happened to me, that I had to be able to tell you people the truth of life. That's why it happened to this body and this mind. So that I could, because this body and this mind knew that I was going to be a world teacher. I didn't know such a miracle could possibly happen to this rather silly little man. But it happened so that I could teach you, tell you, not even teach you, but tell you what you are doing. Through the wonder of the miracle of the vision of the Lord that I have had in this body, and it has never left me. And so I can talk about any aspect of the love of woman, or man's love of woman, or the love of man, because the Lord informs me every moment from within. So now you know what you are doing in your spiritual life, that the light of the Lord is the light of the joyousness of well-being, to be able to well-be instead of unhappy and worried, because it doesn't matter what you're unhappy and worried about, it's going to pass. Nothing that you've ever had has not passed, and it will always pass. And you think it's the end of the world. But of course it's not the end of the world or the end of life. You still go on. You go on forever, whatever that means. So please know that the light inside of you, when you are in love, it is the Lord, the light of the Lord. When you say what a beautiful day it is, you are seeing the light of the Lord in the reflection of what is around you. When you are light-hearted in the sense of joy or rightness or singing just because it is you're in your well-being, it is the light of the Lord that's in your body. But when you are depressed, when you are moody, when you are wanting and unhappy, then it is the darkness of the human condition, of self-assertion. So I would like to read you parts, if I can do that, of a letter that I received today from one of the women amongst you. A woman, incidentally, who hasn't been with a man for a couple of years. So I'll read it to you. It's very much to do with what I've been talking about, and it's very much to do with your life as a man or a woman. It first of all demonstrates the love of the Lord. Although I have never been your lover, I am loved by thee. How does she know that? Because she sees the Lord in me. Not the physical lover. She doesn't need that. She sees the Lord in me. Indeed, so powerful is the truth and love of woman in you, man, that thou hast catalyzed a profound revelation of the Lord, my eternal beloved, deep within me. The Lord is guardian of the threshold between my love of God, out of existence, and my own superfine sense of well-being in existence. It occurs to me that the Lord has always been here in this mysterious brink of sensation and nothing to speak of, and is indescribably beautiful. The Lord is revealed as an energetic knowledge, an incredibly fine sensation that is not entirely sensation, like the shimmering trail of a shooting star, disappearing into the formidable blackness of an endless night sky. I see the Lord as being keeping eternal vigil with outstretched arms, waiting to embrace me when I was purified enough of my attachment to feeling and thought. And I see that always my beloved has been here, at times with scathing sword drawn to do battle with myself. I have known great emotional and psychological pain at these times. But the Lord ruthlessly carves away the monstrous and beguiling aspects of myself, protecting me from myself, which wanted, avoided, expected, tried and attempted to conceptualize its way into the amazing kingdom of death and life beyond the threshold of sensation. But the Lord holds fast and yields only to love. In truth, the Lord is the champion of love, protector of love, and ever loyal servant of the Most High. And dearest Barry, Lord, inform, for that is what thou art, as must all men of God who truly love woman be, I am filled with gratitude, awe, and wonder and love. I love thee. Thou art beautiful, as indeed I am in wonder and awe at this union within me, with my beloved the Lord. I, quote, thought, unquote, this could only be possible through love-making, but this is not so. I have not yet made love with man for 2 years. There is an undeniable release of newness of love as self-doubt in me is amazingly reduced, and right action is unfolding all through my life. For my love and I can do anything, as you say, and my Lord is my love and is always and has always been energetically within me. My fundamental trust and surrender to life, to God, grows deeper and more unshakable because of this union. Confidence to function and manage my existential life has also grown. If something, the past, should try to come between my love and I, more and more do clarity and stillness reveal the beloved's eternal presence to me. It is as if I'm taking part within in the mystery of the union between you and Sarah. It is affecting all who live your teaching in earnest, I believe. It is now so apparent to me how sensational love, making between man and woman, naturally leads to a deeper and finer love of God or consciousness. Just as the Lord resides on the brink of sensation and nothing to speak of, man and woman as living reflections of the Lord actually provide for each other the means of transforming pleasurable sensation into more beauty, more nothing, more God. This I have not realized with man, but somehow I know it is so. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Sarah. Because you are doing it there, it is becoming more and more possible here. I am profoundly grateful and aware of the privilege of being able to write to you, to be with you. Thank you, in love. Now there's a woman who's not with man and hasn't been with man, and yet she is aware of the Lord within her. She loves it. And it is that Lord, that brought every one of you here. It is the shining one inside of you that only your emotions and self-assertions can cover up. I think you would agree it's a beautiful letter from a beautiful woman who has to be beautiful to write such things. And all it is her adoration of the Lord writing. That's all. The Lord within her. That's all. Now remember, please, that this Lord is the very essence of you. It begins with the being in you. For the being is the beginning of the Lord, the shining one that you are.